Hello everybody, my name is Nick and welcome to Load TV. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, I highly recommend subscribing to our channel as well as checking out Load.1 to learn more about the project. And for the rest of you, welcome back to the second part of our interview with the Gold Antitrust Action Committee founding member, Bill Murphy. Let's dive in. So in your opinion then, what should the price of gold and silver be? What could an individual consider real in terms of price?
Well, it's a very good question. And, let's put it this way. Silver, which is I'm focused on more even than gold, was at $50 in 1980. Then in 2011, it went up to 50, and I can get into what I think. I can tell you what happened and why. And all of a sudden now it's 1470 and not even trading, just sitting there as other assets like the cryptocurrencies and stock markets and other assets like art have all taken off over the years. It's just been put in total lockdown, and they put silver in lockdown with gold because they're both monetary metals, and you can't have one go without the other. So now they've gone bonkers on silver. I think it's going to change big time, but predicting the timing of it's very difficult. The question, I think gold should be at least double what it is today, and certainly should be more. Silver should be worth more than $50 or what it was able to get to for whatever reason 40 years ago.
And what about all the legal cases from entities like Deutsche Bank? Why haven't we seen any follow-up on these?
Well, we've got to learn this a long time ago. We're taking on the rich and powerful, and of course the major one in silver is JP Chase. They've been the big short these past 8 years, and there's been a lot of talk about what they did buying positions from barristers and this and that, but I can tell you this for a fact, that in 2010, 2011, when the price went from 15 to 50, JP Morgan let the price go up. We know this because the open interest, which is the longs and shorts on the COMEX, was 135,000 contracts, almost all the way up. Once they got to near the top, they started selling the futures market on the COMEX, and now the open interest is over 200,000 contract and has gone up to as high as 243,000. That is then taking the short side to suppress the price. And I believe, and this is just my own opinion on this one, that JP Morgan, when the price was going up, when they let it go, they were buying physical silver like crazy, buying it, buying it, buying it. It didn't matter that it went up against them because they had all this physical supply. Then they went all out in the futures market and the COMEX and the over-the-counter market and sold the paper market like crazy, much more than they had physical, and have been selling it ever since. And there's the word out there that JP Morgan has not had a losing trade in the futures market in all these years. Not one. But that just doesn't happen in free markets.
So in that case, what do you say to people who rebuff and make the argument that the manipulation we're seeing is perfectly legal?
I hate to say it, but they may be right. In the sense of the illegal part of it is not letting people know what is actually happening. That is a fraud. The Exchange Stabilization Fund and different things that have come out makes it legal for them to do whatever they want in the government and the gold and silver markets. What is illegal and certainly not correct is not to tell people what's going on. And we know how difficult it is to expose this because we keep sending stuff to the press. We point out various things where it's obvious that it's being manipulated and what's going on, and it's either edited out or it's not allowed to be discussed. I mean, this is America. We have free markets supposedly. China's got freer markets than we do, and I think it's spread into the stock market and LIBOR. And I mean, heck, the billion banks, like at JP Morgan, which was fined $35 billion a few years ago, were for rigging markets. I mean, whether it was in the oil market, was in the mortgages market, the LIBOR market, the currency markets, and the evidence is all there for them to look at in silver. And we had a good friend named Bart Chilton, who was a CFTC commissioner, really good guy. Met him in Washington, a great family guy, and he was the only guy who gave GATA the time of day and tried to help us out whenever he could. Well, mysteriously, just 2 weeks ago, he died. I mean, he was a young guy. And we don't know what happened, and we can't say what happened. It was supposedly due to some illness he had, but he certainly looked great on TV. just a couple of weeks before that. So we don't know what happened, not going to say anything about it, but the one guy who tried to help us and did give us the time of day publicly is dead.
So, so given all this almost Orwellian information you're telling us, do you believe that there will be a day when the truth will finally come out to the masses? And if so, how far are we from that day?
Great question, Nicholas. And the answer is no. And the answer is also yes. I don't think anything's ever going to change for all the effort that God has made and all our followers, where it will get exposed in the sense that the press will do anything about it and make it known and so on, like Enron and so on, all these things. But I do believe that the gold and silver markets are going to explode. It's one of the most important things to know about these markets, in my opinion. It's just how rigged they are and what artificially low prices they are because of the suppression. And it's going to blow up. The physical markets will overpower them, and when they go, they're going to go berserk. And then when it affects all the other markets and these other chaos in the financial markets, which are not allowed to occur right now, everyone's going to want answers. And they'll come to God and say, please explain this to us, or go to God and say, this is what these people said all along. And that's the one thing we can do and be a real advantage for people. One, to let people know why they should be in gold and silver at this particular point in time. And two, what could be coming as a result of all this suppression and manipulation. It's just not right, and it's going to blow up.
So in your opinion, then, what role should the Fed take? Do you actually believe that the Fed should be abolished?
No, I mean, what they ought to do is just let gold trade freely, like your cryptos are doing. I mean, why should they be manipulated and artificially suppressed? It doesn't make any sense in the sense of what is going to happen down the road. Short term, we know why they're doing it. They've been doing it for decades. And when people say, well, geez, the markets aren't rigged, the gold price was rigged 50, 60 years ago. It was, it's a set price. I mean, if they rigged it, and it was just well known. Then they went off the gold standard, and then they did it behind the scenes. So it's no big deal to understand this. What is a big deal is what they're doing and what it's allowing to happen down the road.
So then, based on your experience in the market, has the manipulation of gold and silver sort of deterred you from investing in precious metals? How much would you recommend an individual hold?
Well, I'm too prejudiced. Unfortunately, at the moment, I got a lot of it. So I'll leave it at that. But I mean, I think right now is about as good a risk-reward situation you can get involved in, especially silver, that I've ever seen in my life. I mean, the gold-silver ratio just the other day was up at 88. 88! 40 might be more like it. So even if gold did nothing, silver could double and be back to say to $30 an ounce, it'd be back where it was historically.
All right, Bill, thank you very much for joining us today. I appreciate you making the time. Take care.
Nicholas, anytime, and I'd love to come back, hopefully when the silver price is a lot higher.
That's all we have for today's episode. Thoroughly hope that you guys enjoyed the interview. As always, if this is your first time joining us, please subscribe to our channel as well as check out Load.1 to learn more about the project. That's all for today, guys, and take care.